Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It has been quite some time. We got a pretty fun one to do. As you guys saw, I just refreshed the page. WeekPay is now live, 0% MER, till September of next year. Now, what exactly is this? Well, WeekPay, Roundhill WeekPay Universe ETF for diversified exposure across all single stock repay ETFs. Designed for investors targeting weekly income, amplified performance. Now, what it means by that is you're actually going to be owning. It's rebalanced monthly, so you're going to be owning a whole ton of these leveraged underlying ETFs that pay dividends on Tuesday, but WPAY will pay on Wednesday. So, if you think about it, it's actually kind of a good way to mix in with it. I'm going to sell my Tuesday holdings, though. I'm just going to buy this instead. No point doubling up on just a few specific funds. So the big advantage is it does pay on a weekly basis, which is very nice. Expense ratio, so 1.28% net expense, so they're waiving their MER, so basically it's 0.99%. Now the asset under management and the shares outstanding, if you take this number, divide it by this, it's going to come out to $50 launch price. Sorry, it's not a stock, it's on IPO. So it's going to come out tomorrow, $50. Now, this depends on a few different things because one of its underlines actually have a earnings call, I believe, tomorrow morning. I could be wrong. 5 p.m. Sorry. So it's going to be tomorrow night. This is going to probably determine a decent chunk of what happens inside the fund. So Broadcom does it. AVGW is the leverage with swap ticker. And here's the holding. So it actually did finally come out. So you have Google, Apple, right here, as I just said, Broadcom, Berkshire, Netflix, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Palantir, AMD, Nvidia, Tesla, Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and Hood. And as you guys can see, it is perfectly even the entire way down. It has a decent amount of shares of each too. I'm extremely excited to own this one. I'm really not gonna lie. So you can see right there, so 50.47. So it is actually up. Why is it up? One of the underlines must have ran up or something. I don't know. Maybe it bought Google and it ran up like crazy. I don't know. Regardless, though, I'm extremely excited for this. So it already set out its distribution, so it's going to pay every Wednesday, as I said. If you buy this thing tomorrow, just be aware you are missing next week's distribution. So you're missing on the September 10th. You will not get paid. You will get paid the following week. So be aware for that, because I know some people like me, we've been very spoiled with every single one of these weekly paying funds. So, we have the 2 Tuesday, a whole ton of Tuesday payers, or sorry, a few Monday, a whole ton of Tuesday, decent chunk Wednesday, and then all your Thursday ones up here, and then the Friday ones above, which, is still a pretty decent amount. So, with that said, what I'm going to do is we're going to go to my portfolio. This is my current portfolio. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually going to neuter the portfolio pretty damn heavily coming up tomorrow. I'm selling Alti, and I'm probably going to sell Chippy. And the reason is I'm just going to put it into the fund of funds YMAX. Just nothing again. Like, Alti has done pretty bad, and I imagine it's going to continue to do pretty bad. Might not be a good idea selling probably at the bottom, but, who knows. But I'd rather just have a fund of funds. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to what I did. I'm going to sell all of these guys tomorrow. I'm going to buy WPAY. And then I'm also going to turn around and buy, I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy Y-Spy. It really isn't going to be a lot, if I'm honest with you. Like, I could probably buy 100 shares of this. And then the goal ultimately would be 100 shares of WPAY. But I'm probably going to hold off maybe a little bit. I might sell my single stocks again. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, so this is everything you need to do. So it's obviously pays weekly. There's no distribution, but as you guys can see, all it does is own the underline. So we could literally take the average of all of these, and you could very, very, very easily see you know, what the dividend yield would be. So we can actually. Oh shoot! Did not mean to click on that. My bad. I was here. Coin, Google, Hood, Meta, Netflix, MicroStrategy, Microsoft, Nvidia, WPAY, and TSLW. Okay, so then we're gonna go to average calculator. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start off. Oh, that's WPAY. So yeah, we'll do this. So we're gonna do. We're gonna round down, by the way. So we're gonna do 20. The reason for this is just I'm very much protection type thing. Like I'm very much make a low estimate, be very surprised if it's actually a huge amount. But ultimately that is just me. Everyone, you can do this easily yourself and decide. We'll do 40, 32, so 30, 40, 20. Sorry, this is kind of the boring part. You guys are going to see me just click and go through stuff. Coin, 77. I almost want to go really conservative. Yeah, we're going to do really conservative. You know what? No, I said we're going to round down. 70. I want to do 60 or even 50 on it, but whatever. Google will do 30. Robinhood, 70 again. I want to go way lower, but I said I'd do it this way, so we'll do it this way. Meta, it's close to 30, but again, rounding down, so 20, 30. I actually really like the Netflix one. We'll do 60. 60 for micro. Actually, no, I haven't even looked. What has MicroStrategy even paid lately? 80, 70, $1, 40, 40. It's not really that great. 20 for Microsoft. That really shouldn't surprise anyone here. Nvidia, we're gonna do 40, even though it's close to 50. We're almost done, guys. 2 more. Palantir, we'll do 40. And Tesla is that 200%. That doesn't make sense. What? Oh, its last payment was $1. Huh. That is actually very surprising. Why the massive jump? I'm assuming it ran up a lot in a week. No, it declined 5. That's not correct. I don't think so. It might be taken after hour. Where's last week? I think here. So it went from here to. Oh, it did. Okay, so it basically was flat. So I'm assuming in the calls they sold it up here, or so not calls on the swap. They sold it way up, so that's why the dividend was huge. Good for them. Okay, so that's it. That's every single fund they own. We're going to calculate an average. 37%. So again, I like rounding down. It's going to be 30% would be my estimate. So basically expect something closer to Maggie. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure Maggie pays 30%. Yeah, 34. So basically expect a Maggie out of this. So you're probably going to get a very consistent like 30-cent-ish dividend. Minus 30%, $15. 15 divided by 52. 20 to 30 cents a week would be my estimate on this guy. And that's just based off the average of these, because obviously if the underlying goes up a ton, you guys are going to experience a very massive, you know, really good share price appreciation, as well as a very good distribution for them, thanks purely to swaps. So that's my guess, is like basically 30%. I don't believe this one is leveraged at all. In fact, I'm like 90% sure. Oh, wait. Sorry, this is this is going to be like, why is there Meg 7 in here? Sorry, guys. That was stupid of me. There we go. So, tough holdings. Pretty sure there's no leverage. No, this one has no... The underlines have leverage. This one doesn't. Okay, so yeah. Hood is the bottom of the barrel, and Google is the very top. So, obviously, as this goes on and on and on. They're gonna buy, they'll reorganize the end of the month, sell and buy whatever, whatever's dropped for exposure. So this is just an easy way to get exposure to everything. I personally love it. There's quite a few people I know that are probably not going to like this very much, but for me, honestly, I'm very, very, very excited. Came out fees. Option trade is not yet available. WPAY is passively managed and designed to track the WeekPay Universe Index. How often WPAY? WPAY distributions weekly. All WePay ETFs with their underlying assets based on single stock will be eligible. WePay ETFs with exposure to indices, fixed income, commodities, or ETFs thereof will not be eligible. So if they do anything with an index, fixed income, bonds, commodities, I'm drawing a blank on that for some reason, or other ETFs, it won't be included. So this is just purely the single stock. It's rebalanced to equal weight at a monthly basis. So again, it's just very good exposure. 50-50, I'd actually be kind of fine buying it with. But again, my estimate, I'm calling a 30% yield on it and expect like a 20, like a Maggie 28, very flat distribution. And again, I do extremely, extremely conservative guesses. So if you're more like, well, I expect this, then but go off that, because mine is like I'm expecting basically here when it comes out in the 27, 28 range. Realistically, it could also, it could jump and pay like 30 whatever, or it could pay, variety of like up and down, like a dollar, 50 cents, 40 cents. But obviously everyone has their own thing, and mine is just, trying to be safe and very conservative. So that's it, guys. Peace.